This episode of Capes and Lunatics is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. Get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
This is Luca Perich, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
Diggity dink.
Hello and welcome to another week of the Nightwing News, episode 94, The Road to 100. I am Phil. Joining me as always, it is.
Hello, I'm Kristen.
And today we will be discussing Nightwing, The New Order miniseries. My friend of the show, Mr. Kyle Higgins.
And I'm telling you, there's Coke in this solo cup. I have not been to a frat party.
Hey, like Will says, nobody's business what you're drinking on camera.
I mean, that is true, but it's just... I feel like it's a step... Red Solo Cup is a step down from my usual on-point glassware.
I know.
And must always have something Nightwing or Robin.
But you're like...
I guess Red Solo Cup is kind of Robin-y.
You're recording on location, it's okay. The miniseries was from 2017.
Wow.
I know, it seems
so
long ago.
Yes, to get us rolling, I actually have some, overarching thoughts and a story. So, yes, in 2017, I remember distinctly when I first found out about this Nightwing the New Order, because, one, it was a couple months, I found out about it in May, it was announced, and it was a couple months after they had done that Captain America became a fascist sort of thing. Yes, thank you. So anyway, I'm at my medieval jamboree, which is technically called the International Medieval Congress, but I like to call it the Medieval Jamboree in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and I'm standing in a parking lot, and I'm talking with other people about comic books, naturally, as one does, and about how I love Nightwing, and, they're saying, and then somebody says, "Oh, did you hear Nightwing's becoming a fascist?" And I said, "What? I thought that was Captain America's storyline." They were like, "No, Nightwing is too. They just announced it today." And I was like, "What?" And I was devastated. And so I went back to my sketchy dorm room that they were having to stay in, and I immediately Googled it, and it popped up, and I was like, "No, they're making Nightwing a fascist." But then I clicked on the link, and I saw that it was a mini-series, as opposed to being in, I think Captain America went Hydra in his regular book. And then, so I was like, phew, okay, miniseries. That means it's basically an Elseworld, so cool. And then I saw that Kyle Higgins was writing it, and then I was like, extra, whew, because I knew that Kyle was a good writer, but more importantly, in this case, that he was a Nightwing fan.
Yes.
And so I knew it wouldn't just be a sort of character assassination. Like, if I had looked it up and saw that Dan DiDio, or however you say his name, was writing it, I would have sobbed real tears.
But yeah, no, I got the quick summary here. It's, for those of you who don't know, Nightwing the New Order is a comic book miniseries published by DC Comics starting in August 2017. The series, written by Kyle Higgins and illustrated by Trevor McCarthy, is an Elseworld story in which the titular character leads a government task force called the Crusaders, hunting metahumans in a bad future.
Oh yeah, also, yes, right, that ties into... Okay, so they specifically said it was an Elseworld, so huzzah. Also, it weirdly ties in that that his metahuman task force is called the Crusaders, and I first found out about it when I was at a medieval history conference.
And
so it really sears it into my brain.
And also, too, get it? Caped Crusaders?
I mean, yes, also, I may sometimes use a picture of Batman when I kick off my lecture about the Crusades. I will neither confirm nor deny.
Of course you do. But I mean, yeah, I remember this too, and I remember hearing it was like, I knew it was like an Elseworlds thing, but I was like, oh, don't be hurting the brand. But yeah, like you said, I heard it was Kyle, and I was like, okay, yeah, he knows his Nightwing, right. He knows what he's doing. But yeah, I mean, basically, the whole thing in the story is just like, what was it? Superman gets mind controlled, kills Batman, and then there's like a big metahuman battle in Metropolis that lasts like days until Dick pulls a device. Of course, it was something Bruce had confiscated from somewhere. Yeah, and he basically
from Apocalypse.
Yes,
I think
Apocalypse, of course. Yes, and he turned off the metahuman powers of like, what was it, 90% of metahumans in the world?
Yeah, I mean, it almost feels like an EMP blaster for metahuman powers
Exactly.
that had just, boom, shut them off in the area, and that ended the war. Yes, so then my overall theme then is, so on the one hand, I enjoy the series because it's well written, it has nice illustration, and it's a good story. And, you know, Dick is a flawed person like we are, and his heart is in the right place, and he makes some mistakes, but he's also redeemed at the end. But the story also makes me a little sad because Dick is such a flawed person in the beginning.
Yeah, but I mean, I could. We don't like what he does, but I can kind of see it just because you could see the internal struggle. It's like, yeah, he doesn't want to like betray his friends, but it's like I could see him working to protect people, especially once Bruce dies. He'd be like, oh, well, if they can kill Bruce, who's next? Barbara.
Right,
Tim?
and I guess that would, if whoever asked Kyle anything about it, I think that would be, aside from I just want to know if Jake has any significance or if it's just a random name, which is neither here nor there, is I guess I think that this does really seem to hinge on Bruce being killed by Superman in particular,
Yeah.
because I think it seems to me that, based on my understanding of the character, that is, of course, you know, influenced by also what I want the character to be, that if Bruce had not died, I don't think Dick would have been on the side of... I think he definitely would have been more on Alfred's side, because, you know, Alfred is kind of the voice of, like, should we really be doing this to people? And I think if Bruce hadn't died, and Bruce was suggesting, hey, maybe we should, you know, zap these powers and put these people in stasis, I feel like if Bruce was saying that, Dick would have said, but what about my friends? And, you know, we can't do this to people, that's not fair. And so I do think that Bruce really did need to die to get him to that point.
Yeah, I think... Well,
what do you think, Phil?
Well, I think, one, it's like... If Bruce was alive, yeah, Dick would have waited for Bruce to pull the trigger on that device. He would have left that decision up to Bruce. I mean, and two, I think, again, the biggest superhero influence in his life after Bruce is, Superman. I'm sure he was probably like, if they can weaponize Clark, they can weaponize anybody. So, yeah. And again, there was like a big metahuman brawl in Metropolis that they said lasted, 3 days or something? So he's like, yeah, enough's enough.
Yeah, I guess I feel like if Bruce hadn't died and Bruce was thinking we should do this, I think Dick would have been in the sort of Alfred role of saying a bunch of stuff like we shouldn't take away these people's freedom of choice and that kind of stuff. Because, of course, because Dick is a bat, you can see, because they're, a little like metahumans, it's, of course, not totally outside the realm of possibility that he would end up leaning this way, that he does. But I think if Bruce were around, I'm not saying that if Bruce was like, we're going to do it, Dick wouldn't necessarily go along with it, but I think he would have said some of the things that Alfred says.
They would have had a discussion, nothing else, yeah.
Yeah, and he would have had some of those Alfred lines of like, I see your point, but I don't agree with it, but I'm just going to let you do your thing.
And again, yeah, I think the big catalyst is Bruce's death, because I think, even if he's not conscious of it, I think Dick is always like, I can be the shiny, happy guy because, Bruce is always there to make those hard decisions, that maybe no one will agree with, but Bruce was, but once Bruce is dead, I think Dick's, just sitting there thinking, okay, this is all falling on my shoulders now. Yeah, there's nobody else. With Bruce dead, I think Dick's just like, this all falls to me. I have to be the guy to make these decisions that, no one will probably like,
yes.
But yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And Alfred is fulfilling kind of the same role for Dick as he is for Bruce, because it's not as though Alfred approves 100% of everything that Bruce does. Actually, to a large extent, a lot of writers like to portray that Alfred really doesn't entirely approve of Bruce being Batman, but...
Well, but Alfred's always like, I just hope that, for better for you, sir,
Right. Well, and I think it's always much easier. I mean, if you're a conscientious person, it's always much easier for you to forgive other people than it is to forgive yourself. And always much easier to be like, oh, hey. So, it's easier for Alfred to say, Bruce, you shouldn't punish yourself like that. It's easier for Bruce to say, oh, all of you Robins, I would love it if you could, do this thing for a little while and then stop.
And I mean, that it was a struggle internally for Dick, because not only did he shut down Superman and everyone, but again, he betrayed his friends. Starfire lost her powers. Look what happened to Beast Boy. I mean, he got stuck in like mid-transformation. He's literally like a beast man. He's like a walking, talking. What was he, like a tiger man or something?
Yeah. I mean, it's like I betrayed my wife, basically. Yeah. I'm actually not sure if they.
I don't know if they're married, but they do have a kid. Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Who Corey? I guess Corey leaves at some point to be part of the Resistance, and then their son is just like resents her for that.
Yeah. So I like how it's narrated by the son. That's cool. Mm-hmm. And I also think that makes an interesting parallel to the whole when he starts talking about this kind of stuff. But anyway, about how, eventually you realize that, your parents aren't as perfect as you thought. And that, of course, really parallels the Dick and Bruce relationship, particularly as later writers, once he starts getting, like, late teens and into the transition to Nightwing.
Yeah, and again, too, him and the son, kind of similar to, how him and Bruce may not disagree, how Bruce would make...
I mean, I would say Dick's going about it in a better way. I mean, he doesn't fire the kid.
But again, you have a father figure... Well, literally this time it's a father and son, but you have the father figure and the son, and, the son's telling the dad, you shouldn't be making some of these decisions and stuff. Again, so all of a sudden Dick is cast in the Bruce role. Just...
Right. It's kind of what happens when you become a dad, I think. Yeah. I don't know. Let us know, Phil. What are your thoughts, Dad Phil?
Yeah, I mean, this story probably hit a little differently, since I'm a dad. If I'd read this before that, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's like he wants to protect the world, especially for his son, and we see what happens once his son discovers he has powers. Dick's like, no, we're not going to lock you up.
Right, yeah, and of course, and Cyborg gives him some crap about that, like, you're so hypocritical. But I mean, of course, I feel like almost everyone would be like that. Hello, it seems like daily people come out, they're like, oh, I was against gay people until my child turned out to be gay, and now gay people are okay. Like, oh, okay. I
think that's the metaphor.
We're like, I didn't really think sexual harassment was bad until someone I knew was sexually harassed, and now I think it's bad.
Yeah, I think that's the metaphor Cal was going for. Yeah, it's like those politicians who like try to enact laws against gay marriage until their son or daughter comes out.
Right, yeah.
And
then like, oh wait, this means my son can't get married to his nice boyfriend. Oh, maybe we should change this.
Exactly.
It also seems, and I mean, it's fine. You don't want to get bogged down in backstory. That, so yeah, it wiped out the powers, and that included Corey's, but they still got together afterwards. But then there was some other stuff, like it didn't just happen immediately after Metropolis. It says his dad's identity was exposed, and then somebody tried to kill him. So it wasn't like just, oh, we got rid of powers that one time. I mean, I think he just did that to stop the fight.
Yeah.
But then this other stuff happened because it kind of snowballed from there.
Well, yeah, too, they were also like, there were some people they couldn't take their powers away, so they put them in like a deep freeze.
Yeah, I mean, that's the most shady stuff right there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, taking people's powers away is also shady, but it's the deep freeze that's really bad.
And I don't know, like, he has, like, he was working to set this up with Kate Kane, Batwoman, and I was just like, I don't know, did Cal want to go that route? Because Dick and Kate have never been that close to me.
They talk about it in there, that they're not that close. I think that was put in kind of because Kate makes the most sense. Because they talk about it as the president was also, trying to do, like, it's not like Dick did all of this on his own. He just kind of, became the figurehead, as they said.
And Kate kind of makes sense. She was military. Her father was a general. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah,
right. Yeah, so, because I think Kate is actually higher up than Dick is.
Yeah, I think Dick
is like in Gotham and Kate is in DC.
Yeah, Dick's kind of like the figurehead. He's like the symbol, of the beginning of this whole movement. But he's still willing to chase guys down, as we see in the beginning of issue 1.
Heck yeah, he is. And then, of course, so there are two things that really get Dick to change his mind. His son and poor Alfred, he dies.
Well, yeah. I mean, we see Alfred still alive in the beginning, but yeah, at the end of 1, Dick finds out his son has powers, and yeah, and then they come to take the son. Yeah, and Alfred throws himself in the line of fire. Right?
Dies. That's really setting stuff off.
Yeah, but I kind of like, it's like, I'm never always the most patient reader, but it's like Cal kind of like gives us a little bit at a time. It's like, oh yeah, Dick shut down the powers. Why did he do that? Well, he kind of gives you a little bit at a time until it's not even until like issue 2 where he's just like, oh yeah, look at this big fight that was going on in Metropolis, and Dick has set off that weapon to take everyone's powers, which it seems weird to me. I guess it's just like a generic, take everyone's powers away, quote unquote magic device, plot device. But it's like, would it work the same on humans as like, Kryptonians or Tamarinians or look like Martian Manhunter and Miss Martian were there? Would it work the same on everybody? I mean, I guess Darkseid.
I don't know. I guess it does because that's what's convenient.
Oh,
but yeah,
you're
right.
Again, it's Darkseid. You probably try to. I can see him trying to make a weapon to take everyone's powers.
Yeah, right. I think that you're right. You can explain that away by being like it's not from Earth.
It's alien. Yeah, definitely.
And wavy. So, all right. Anyway, then the next big thing I enjoyed talking about is. Can we talk about Tim's amazing dad sweater in issue 3? Cracked me up so much. And look at Tim's got tons of kids, man. Okay, tons is an exaggeration. I think he just has 3.
Hey, man, he's not out there superheroing anymore. He's got to do something to pass the time. Yeah, I was kind of disappointed that, that's like pretty much all we get at Tim, since we got Red Robin on the cover.
I know, and then he's just wearing that amazing sweater. Also, Tim looks super old. The way that, I mean, Tim is younger than Dick, but I don't know. I feel like the way he drew him, Tim looks really super old in here. Or maybe he just looks almost like sick or something. I don't know.
It might just be the haircut too, because
it might be. Yeah, I think his hair is really close cropped, and his face is like really pointy.
Yeah, Dick's hair is he's letting it get a little long. He's got some gray in it, but
oh yeah, Dick's always got full luscious hair, baby. It's his signature. It even goes back to his Robin days. Remember, there's that one where Robin gets hit on the head, but he's not injured as badly as he could have been because his full head of hair helped block the blow.
And I think they I don't know if they purposely did that look for Tim, just because at first you just see a dad with his kids until Dick shows up, and it's like, oh hey Tim, you're supposed to be like, oh it's Tim Drake. Oh my lord! But the death is one thing, but the greatest insult to Bruce, the K. There's like daily tours through the Batcave.
Yeah, which is interesting. Yeah, and of course because they made Alfred the executor. Of his estate, which on the one hand I see, but also it feels like he should leave it to one of the kids because I know they all have dangerous lives, but Alfred's an old man. But whatever, it works. Yeah, we see Tim's concern. Oh, and also it was nice to know that Tim was on his side as well. So I think it's kind of like the bats are, as sometimes does happen, it's like the bats are on one side and everybody else is on the other. Although usually when that happens, it's like the bats are on the right side and everybody else is wrong. I mean, that's how it is in Injustice. It's there's Batman and everyone else who's wrong.
But yeah, it's just, I mean, I'm glad we saw Tim because it's kind of weird. I mean, for story purposes, maybe he did it this way, but like, I don't know why Cal didn't include Barbara or even like Damien.
They were pretending Damien doesn't exist.
Maybe. Maybe they were. I'm trying to remember. Wait. No, I think he was back by now. I was going to say, during New 52, they killed off Damien for a while and then brought him back. I was trying to remember at what point they brought him back, but I think...
Also, yeah, do you think Tim's married to Steph? I mean, they're leaving us hanging there.
That's the thing, we never know.
I know. Just like we don't know who Dick married, or no, we didn't know Dick Starfire. Yeah, I know. I don't know what's up with Barbara. Yeah, well, I think that might have just complicated things.
Maybe
it's like you don't necessarily have an easy slot to put Barbara into. So
yeah,
and plus, like this is a story that involves Dick and Corey. This is like kind of a Titans story. Like, cut out too many unnecessary things. You only have 6 issues. You gotta laser focus.
A lot of story for 6 issues, but yeah, I just would have been curious to see what side Barbara took.
Right. But so how they have Tim? I mean, and Tim saying,
but yeah,
and Tim says, given the circumstances, it was the right decision. And he's like, okay, thanks, Tim. So it's good to know that even though he and Tim aren't, BFFs hanging out all the time. At least it's not because they're not friends. Yeah, and then he sneaks into the sub basement of the Batcave and gets his stuff, and then boom, his old life came looking for him. I do kind of like Corey's outfit, the Starfire outfit here. It's like very practical.
Oh yeah, okay. I thought I remembered this. Yeah, Corey and Dick did get married because I remember. He was saying, they were saying about how Kate wasn't close, but she did come to their wedding.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oh, right. Okay, so here's the thing. Lois Lane as a blue ring, has that been, did he make that up for this? Has there been hints of that in other places?
Yeah. That's like there's like different color, like there's different lanterns.
No, I know the blue ring thing. No, I mean Lois Lane as a ring.
Yeah. That's for this story, yeah.
Okay, because I was like, did I miss something here? Or, okay, that's just for this story. Yeah, no, I knew about all the different ring. Well, because before I quit the internet, well, not to quit the internet, before I quit Tumblr because I couldn't keep up, I remember seeing things about these and like which ring thing, which color ring, and I think a lot of people said Dick might be a blue ring because that's the Hope one, right?
Hope, yeah.
That's what. Yeah. Because when you first hear from the back, you think it's Raven, but Raven's not in this.
Yeah.
Right, and I guess that was the thing that. I get it, but then also still sometimes I'm like, because Dick's really good friends with Wally, and I mean, he and Wally are like really obviously not getting along in this, and that kind of made me sad. And so I guess,
although Wally evidently still has his speed,
right? But I mean, I guess it has to be. I mean, yeah, it works for the story, but a part of me wonders, even if Bruce died in this way, would Dick really go this route? Because he has so many friends that are meta. I feel like, I mean, it's all hypothetical. I mean, obviously it's all fictional, so who even cares? But I mean, I enjoy the story, and it was very interesting, and, I'm glad that it was Nightwing getting a cool Elseworlds issue for once and not Batman. Yeah. But I guess the way I see the characters, I have an easier time imagining that Bruce would do this if Dick got killed by Superman than Dick doing it even though Bruce got killed.
One thing, I don't know if that's part of it too, is they just did this because it is shocking, because it is Dick. If you made this Bruce, right, everyone would have been like, oh yeah, I can see Bruce doing this in a second. Oh yeah.
Right.
But yeah, well again, I think Dick took these steps because Bruce did die, but I'm trying to remember, did they say anything about a death count in Metropolis? Like if the body started piling up in the, casualties.
I think they do say some stuff about how like crime's going down and stuff like that. Oh, here's another random thing that I like, aside from Tim's amazing dad sweater. I like how Trevor McCarthy got it right, and Corey is taller than Dick. Yes, that's right. That's how it was originally.
Well, yeah, because they even get that. Yeah, because like that one flashback panel to their wedding. Yeah, like she's like
exactly, and when they're meeting.
Yeah.
And as a woman who rocks the short hair, I do like Corey's really short haircut. It doesn't. I mean, I can see how her really intense long hair kind of fits the more sunshiny Corey persona, but this kind of fits her.
And two, when she had power, she could afford to have long hair. Now, when she's hand to hand, you don't want to like somebody.
No, that long hair is super heavy. I can't even imagine.
And you don't want somebody grabbing that. I mean, the thing's a mile long.
Yeah. So now we get part of discussion about why they broke up.
Yeah, because the Titans bring Dick in. But yeah, and there's Cyborg. I guess they can't take his powers away.
No, because he's not meta. He's a machine.
Yeah, exactly. And
I love that quote. And for at least a little while, the band got back together. Because I love using that phrase, we're getting the band back together. Even though it makes me sound like I'm, some 70-year-old dad. But I dig it. It's diggity dank.
Of course it is.
Diggity dank.
So yeah, so he's asking him, help me find my son, and then he finds out the Resistance has been their headquarters is in Lockhaven, the old prison in Bloodhaven.
Boom! Sneaky, sneaky.
Yep, like Wally says, the last place you'd expect.
I guess.
But yeah, there's Beast Boy saying, you didn't get stuck mid-morph when the blast went off.
Oh yeah. Then he says, plus you've never had very good taste except for Corey. Ouch, that's a terrible thing. For Gar, you're one to talk. You've had some pretty bad taste. But, I mean, obviously they're, like, not really friends right now. So it, of course, is a typical insult.
And not only are they hoping, that what's happening with Dick's son will open his eyes, but they're like, not only his body can counteract the effects of the device, so his son could be a cure.
Right. Which is pretty convenient for when you're having a change of heart.
Mm-hmm.
But I can reverse what I've done.
But again, too, Corey, his son's 50% alien, too.
Exactly. I guess they thought maybe they wouldn't have to worry about it since Corey lost her powers in the blast.
What?
I mean, that would be my thought, was they thought maybe he wouldn't get powers because Corey lost hers before he was born.
Oh, yeah. I was trying to remember.
Because he says in it, like, I wasn't born before Metropolis.
Well, that probably helped, too. He wasn't born when the thing went off, yeah.
Right.
But yeah, Lois uses the ring to show him what you want more than anything.
Wait, is this still in number 4?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and it's like him and Corey getting the band back together. So, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it is. And again, you could do a way more than this if you wanted to, like, really belabor the point, but, you don't have time for that in a comic. But it is also a good metaphor. And really, I think it speaks to Kyle being a pretty good writer because he's not even, like, that old. But this also kind of feels like a really meaningful thing to older people who are, kind of look back on their life and are like, oh, man. I did some stuff and I kind of regret it. That it's kind of a regress book about how things kind of get away from you because it kind of snowballed.
Yeah. But no,
and so like when Dick used that blast, his intention was not for this to happen. His intention was to stop that fight.
Yeah. And again, I was looking just real quick again at him talking to Corey, and it's just like maybe he would not have taken this as far as he did if Corey hadn't left, because she left. Bruce is gone, and then Corey leaves, and like I said, who knows where Barbara's at? So it's like,
right, yeah.
The only anchor.
Well, and Alfred moves to Arizona.
Exactly, and then Alfred's out of town, so it's like pretty much all his emotional support's gone.
Yeah, he pretty much gets sucked into becoming a kind of Bruce type dude. Sounds like he's a bit of a workaholic.
Well, yeah, that, and then he has he's a single father all of a sudden. He's trying to protect this kid. So yeah, him and the Titans try to track down his son, but it's kind of a trap because it was at the end of 4, get ambushed by Mr. Freeze, which again makes sense because as we saw in Batman Beyond, yes, most of Freeze survived into the future.
Yeah.
So, again, I think like I said, I can pretty much justify any of this, but I think Kyle was going for shock because, again, it's like if you had said this was Bruce, no one would have batted an eye. Everyone was like, oh yeah, Bruce would go that far.
Right. Well, it's good to... Well, yeah, there are some shocking things in there, like, you get the image where Superman heat visions Batman to death by, it kind of looks like frying his brain in the Batcave. That's intense. That's an intense image.
Well, that's the other thing. Like, something like this almost kind of happened because, what was it around Infinite Crisis? Yeah, like Max Lord took, like we talked about during the Wonder Woman episode. Yeah, Max Lord took control of Superman, had him beat Bruce almost, Bruce was pretty close to death. And that's when, Diana tracked down Max Lord and said, how do I free him? He's like, you can't. She snapped his neck. Right, yeah. So something like that kind of happened. So, I mean, Cal kind of built on something that kind of happened.
Yep. And then you get this sort of like very lost through time Superman. This kind of reminds me of some of those covers that they had with Bruce, when Bruce was traveling through time.
Oh, yeah.
When he was like caveman Batman with a little like with his flowing wolf skin flowing off his back. This kind of reminds me of that.
Yeah, every so often you get Superman like either trapped in like a planet, or if he gets powerless, you get like stuff like this.
Right, and so when I like how Superman says, Batman, or when Jake says Batman had the apocalypse tech thing, and Superman says, yeah, and your dad, Nightwing, is the one who talked about using it, and that feels, and that's more. That feels like, more in line with character. And so then, of course, that's why they have to have it be something so big, like Bruce gets killed.
But when, like, Jake uses his powers... Jake uses his powers to help them all get away. And then when they get back, to Lockhaven, Beast Boy's like, yeah, you're going to help us take the whole thing apart, right? And Dick's like, just because the system isn't perfect doesn't mean it all needs to go. People voted for this. They believe it. Well, I mean, and again, look at it now. I mean, we see what people will vote for.
It was written in 2017, so yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So just because people vote for it doesn't mean it's right. Come on, Dick.
Ain't that the truth?
Exactly.
And then this is a cool cover, the 6th one. I don't know if I jumped ahead, but that's
Oh, yeah.
And Boy of Wonder instead of Boy Wonder. And he's got a Nightwing shirt on.
But yeah, it's opening 6. Darn you, DC Universe Infinite didn't open up right at the beginning.
No, I hate that. That's why I took screen caps. I have 50 pictures from these in here.
But no, the cover to 6 is really interesting. Yeah, because it's his son. But yeah, you get all the classic DC characters in the back.
Yeah. And the way it is, and he's hovering up there, that feels like an homage to somebody else's cover, but I can't, place it right now.
Oh, I see you like the beginning of 6 because, it's like a flashback. Jake's watching old footage of Batman and Robin.
Yeah, well, in the way Jake is like, I want to help you the way you helped Bruce. I wish I knew how to be as good a Robin as you were. To remind him,
Yeah. You reminded Bruce to be human, I want to try to help you. Remind you to be human.
Aww. Exactly. So then he takes Jake back. Oh yeah, because at the end of 5, right? Isn't that he calls in his people to?
Yeah. He's like, you let me and Jake go, and I'll give you the resistance on a platter. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they also,
which you kind of like. At first, I was thinking, oh, dirty, and then I was like, maybe he has a secret plan. But he really was trying to give the resistance, and I was like, sad.
I know.
But then Jake is like, no.
Yeah, because they were working with a powerless Superman's teamed up with Lex Luthor, and boy, surprise, guess who betrays them?
Oh right, yes, yeah, that of course, yeah, that felt good. Oh yeah, of course, Lex Luthor. As soon as they realize Jake is the cure and he gets the cure synthesized, then he's like, there'll never be inequality because Lex always is like, oh, I'm so upset, I'm so smart, but Superman is more of a Superman than me. So now Lex is like, I'm going to give powers to everyone.
Yeah, they've
which is interesting. That reminds me of something. It's different, of course, because, people are born with these, or they're from different powers. But sometimes with it, Lex's thing that, sometimes reminds me a little bit of people who are like, the only way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. So guns for everyone. He's like, the only way to stop a bad metahuman is a good metahuman. So metahuman genes for everyone. So like, you know what makes it more superpowers, more people who, instead of just punching each other in the face, can punch each other in the face and destroy an entire building in a single punch. Like, that doesn't necessarily seem better.
Well, was that another metaphor too? Kyle's throwing in here. It's like, oh, hey, you know what'll stop a bad guy on a shooting rampage? Lots of people with guns.
Right? Yeah. No, I think definitely it is. I mean, yeah, it's a very meaty issue.
I think if you don't want to see it, you won't. But yeah, I mean, I think Kyle packed some modern.
Oh, yeah, yes. I think you're definitely right. Yes, yeah. I mean, the hypocrisy thing, I mean, yeah, obviously, one, it is indeed just straight up hypocrisy. Yeah. But two, it is also, yes, very much like politicians are in the modern world. Well, I mean, honestly, it's probably how politicians have always been. And it's also, yeah, some of this stuff, yeah, because, okay, Lex Luthor is doing this, you're like, oh, snap, Dick, you really are a bad guy if you're on the opposite side of Lex Luthor. But then, of course, you realize, oh, shocker, Lex Luthor had some nefarious things.
But yeah, I mean, they managed to give Superman back his powers with Jake's help. But then, no, I like this fight with Dick and Kate towards the end, where, you know, she's like, you were supposed to help me, but you never had the stomach for this. And, he's like, no, you had too much of a stomach for this.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, but there's a bomb under Lex's place, and Jake's like saying, it's going to take everybody to get, Superman's going to need help getting rid of that bomb, so.
And somehow he, like, flies them all and almost looks like he has a little force field around him.
Maybe. I think that might be part of his powers. But, I mean, I know, like, Jon Stewart's there. He was working for Kate. And,
oh, right. Yeah.
And, of course,
yeah.
Lois's ring gets stronger the closer it's to a...
Oh, yeah, maybe that was Lois helping do it. Yeah, that might have been it. Yeah.
Because her power gets stronger the closer she is to a Green Lantern ring, so...
Right.
But, yeah, pretty much anyone who has powers at that point is helping them just basically throw this whole thing into the air.
And then we get... After he does it, in 2040, I helped change it again.
Well, yeah, so I guess 2028 is when Dick set off the device. Yeah, and this is 2040, so...
Yep.
But yeah.
He retires. Pennyworth Foundation does stuff.
But yeah, with what like started, the power started slowly coming back. They were still legal for the next 5 years. Yeah, then funding by the Alfred Pennyworth Foundation got the legislation shot down. Kate retires, and then
yeah, and I mean they still have like the regulating of powers, so it's like some of what Dick did, seems like they're pushing it as it was an okay thing to do, not necessarily a bad idea.
Yeah, but like he puts this woman in charge, who we see throughout this miniseries. Yeah, he puts her in charge because he knows he can trust her.
And then Corey starts growing her hair back.
Yep.
Because when he graduates college, she has long hair.
But Jake and Dick start working together. His dad spent his remaining days teaching kids with powers how to control them. I know, yeah. So apparently Dick's already dead by the time this happens. So, like, people are not living super long here. Well, at the end, I mean, look, Jake's grown up. He even has like they don't say how far past it is, but I mean, even Jake's got like a gray streak in his hair. I know, which is kind of ridiculous because his kid's a baby. I know. Well, how long did he wait to have kids, huh? Man, maybe he's graying prematurely. Oh, did you see what Jake has in his little office there? There's a Shakespeare bust in the Shakespeare bust, yeah. The Nightwing poster, Robin. Ooh, Voltron. Some of the stuff from before. Batman, Superman. Who do you think that robot thing is? It looks like... That's Voltron. Yeah, mostly all the pictures we saw before. But yeah, so I guess Jake is... Or maybe maybe it's a fashion statement, because he doesn't really look that old in the face. Maybe it's a fashion statement callback to Uncle Jason. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he just, or he grayed young, who knows. But yeah, so they, eventually he has a family. He's a gray son. That's a boom hiss for sure. And then whoever his wife is, but yes, the most exciting, okay, not the most exciting part, but yeah, he named his baby Richard. Yep. Aww. And then you see all these kids out there playing metahuman basketball. We don't know what the middle name is, but I would like to assume it's Alfred.
That'd be pretty good.
Because Alfred was kind of like a grandfather to Jake.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Since Bruce was dead.
So yeah, like Cal doesn't say it, but I would like to know how far past 2040 this is when he has his family. Because I mean, he was a kid in 2040, so.
I know, yeah. And, I mean, it has to be, I mean, it's minimum 10 years, but it feels more like minimum, it feels like minimum it's probably 2055, 15 years, because he's been through college.
Yeah.
And the thing is I feel like they're kind of suggesting to us that he's 12, but he can't really be 12. At the oldest, I think he can be is 11. Because it's 12 years after Metropolis, and he wasn't, and like his parents weren't married yet or anything. So, I mean, I think Jake is really more like 10.
Maybe.
So that's at least 12 years to get through college. Then he was saying he was working with Dick because Dick was doing this.
Well, like you said, he had to go through college. He had to meet this woman who we never find out what her name is. Yeah, and had, at least 9 months to have a kid. Yeah, it's,
Yeah. But it still seems, I mean, like, Dick could easily still be alive, but it obviously is very strongly.
Well, that's what I'm saying too. When they say when he says, Dick's dead, I'm assuming it's way more. It's more than 15 years.
Right. Yeah. So yeah. All right. The end timeline seems a little bit wonky, but whatevs.
Again, that's why I don't think he put a year on it. It was just like, whatever you want.
Yeah.
All right. So again, a lot of this Dick isn't portrayed in the best light. But what did you think? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah. I mean, this is one of those times where. So of course, because I'm like sad, that Dick is kind of a dick. For a lot of the stuff, it's like makes me sad. But I mean, it's a really solid miniseries. You know, it's very well written. It's very artistically, and I mean, it's a quibble. Obviously, I mean, this person's a fictional character, so we can't really know. So that's why it's in Elseworlds, because the Dick Grayson version that I prefer, even if Superman heat visioned Bruce's brain out, he wouldn't go this route. He would be upset, but because he has so many meta friends, he would, I'm not saying that he wouldn't use I could definitely see him using the power blaster thing to stop it, particularly if that happened like right after Bruce died. But I can't necessarily see him wanting to police metahumans like this and want to put them in stasis. Like the stasis thing is really where it doesn't ideally fit my conception of Dick Grayson, the Dick Grayson I prefer, but I don't think it fits Kyle's ideal conception of Dick Grayson. That's why this is an Elseworlds. It's supposed to be, what if he made a couple really not so hot decisions and this is what happened. So yeah, I mean, like, it's really good pacing. It's like, it's one of those things when you see someone make an argument, or less like a good movie, you're like, that's a good movie, it's just not my cup of tea. Yeah. It's kind of like that. That it is my cup of tea, but it's not my favorite cup of tea. Yeah. But it's very good.
I mean, I think you needed a writer like Kyle who gets Dick to write this, because it's like,
exactly, yes.
This is like a what if it's like basically Dick Grayson's worst day, and he still shows restraint. Like, you can't go like full Hitler with Dick Grayson. Maybe with Bruce, but you can't with Dick Grayson. So like I said, I'm just glad it was like someone like Cal who gets the character who's like, he would still have doubts no matter what. Even at the end, he changes his mind and stuff and helps turn it around. But
absolutely, yes, yes, and that is the other thing is, I mean, that's why I didn't even read it and like it, is because it was clearly written by someone who likes Dick as a character and cares about the character and doesn't want to assassinate the character. Because, you could just make him into a total huge jerk.
Yes.
In this. And even though it's an Elseworlds, it still feels true to Dick Grayson. It's like, if Dick Grayson had made a couple of had made a couple of not so great decisions, and all of us do. I mean, everybody sometimes makes decisions that later you think, that wasn't really in keeping with my best self. And that's what a couple of these decisions are, and yeah.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think yes, that's the other thing. I'm so grateful that if they were going to write this, that it was Kyle who wrote it, or I mean, maybe if someone like Devin Grayson or something had wrote it, someone who really likes Dick as a character, because there are some people that don't really seem to like Dick as a character. That it might have still been a good story, but I really wouldn't have liked it. So I think it's a testimony to such a good job that Kyle and Trevor did that I actually like it, even though it makes me sad that Dick made these bad choices. So, an A. I can't give it an A+ because I'm still sad that Dick made these bad choices, but
I know. She's getting hard, kids. She's saying giving it an A instead of an A+.
That's right. I'm a harsh taskmaster.
Please, you want to take her class? All right.
I have standards.
There's a drop. I have standards. All right. So, should we tell them what's coming up next, then get out of here?
Yes, let's do it.
All right, kids. Next week is going to be part 3 of our big crossover with all the other DC shows. So, yes, before you listen to the next episode, go over to Capes and Lunatic Sidekicks, listen to Comic Capers 109, where Lilith Hellfire and I kick things off for the Eclipso thing, and then go to Sector 2814, the Green Lantern Podcast, episode 17 for part 2 and Green Lantern Annual 1. And yes, then come back here for part 3, where Kristen and I are going to cover New Titans Annual 8 and Deathstroke the Terminator Annual number 1. Yes, every Titan gets eclipsed except for one. I wonder who that could be. The most capable of Titans? Yes.
Find out next week.
Yes, and then in 2 weeks, the one Kristen has been chomping at the bit to get to, Batman 232.
The Demon's Quest.
That's right. All right, kids. So, yes, send your thoughts on all that. Email us, capesandlunatics@gmail.com, or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And remember to follow Nightwing News on Facebook, Twitter. Find links to all of our social media for all of our various shows, links to this YouTube channel, links to our Patreon, more and more stuff going there. Links to merch, all in one place. It's Linktree, linktr.ee/capesandlunatics. And please remember to support our sponsors, Tweaked Audio and Hunt a Killer. Use the code Southgate for both of those for discounts. And for those of you who like to read, pick up, first, Pod Life the Book, Volume 1, now digital and paperback, audio version coming soon. And especially fans of this show, you must, I order you to go pick up Dick Grayson, Boy Wonder. That's right. It's a new order. Go pick up Dick Grayson, Boy Wonder. Learn all about the character of Dick Grayson. You'll learn something new, I promise you. All right. And, yes, and you can pick up those on Amazon. And when you do, use the link for Southgate Media Group right down there in the show notes. Help us support this show, the network, and that man in the background pulling the strings, Rob Master Doom Southgate.
Make it rain, so says Master Doom. Why did your eye drift over to my box?
All right. So, thank you for joining us. Again, in 1 week, part 3 of the Eclipso crossover. New Titans Annual 8 and Deathstroke the Terminator Annual 1. And then in 2 weeks, Batman 232. Demon's Quest as we inch ever closer to episode 100. Please subscribe to YouTube so you can see Kristen dancing. That's right, kids. Lots of great stuff coming. Remember, we officially announced what's coming in 100. If not, let's keep it a surprise. Alright, but enough of that. Until next time, you can join us. Same wait time.
Nightwing channel.